Good afternoon, dear students. Welcome you all for the live virtual class for Paper 2 Business Laws at the foundation level. Today, we will start with Unit 3, that is other essential elements of the contract. Till yesterday, we have completed Unit 1 and Unit 2 of the Indian Contract Act, Chapter 2. The notes and the assignments are already uploaded, and the notes and assignment for this unit is already we have uploaded today also. Okay, so try to finish the view the live virtual class from here and do the same topic from the study material. I am assuming that till today you have completed Unit 1 and Unit 2 of the Indian Contract Act from the study material as well as Saransh also. Okay, we have discussed about Saransh in the previous class that simultaneously you have to refer Saransh and practice part also. Practice you can do from the suggested answers, from the RTPs. I know RTP for January 2026 is not uploaded, but 4 to 5 attempts RTPs are already there. Okay. September 2025 suggested answer is not there, but previous to that suggested answers are uploaded. So there is a lot of questions available with you, be it in the study material at the end, be in the form of test your knowledge, RTP suggested and model test booklet. So these whole exercise has to be done simultaneously. First LVC class, then Saransh, then study material, sorry, Saransh and practice part. Okay. Two queries I received from 2-3 days in Saturday, Sunday of on ask your query. I want to take two queries. First query was that 2-3 students simultaneously was asking that, ma'am, quoting of section number is important or writing the provision is important. So we are taking so many questions. We are practicing so many questions on a daily basis. So I think this is not the relevant question. We have emphasized a lot that writing of legal provision is a must because sections and these legal provisions are carrying individual steps. If your question is of 6 or 7 marks, okay, so 3 to 4 marks have been allocated for legal provision. It is immaterial whether you quote the section number or not. Okay, so writing of legal provision is important, but if you have remembered the correct section number, you can quote it. Otherwise you can ignore. One query, second query, some students were asking ki, ma'am, we want to quit 2 chapters, we are not going to learn 2 chapters, that is chapter 1 Indian regulatory framework and second chapter is LLP, because they are of very less marks and hardly one question come from these chapters. Dear student, in the first class only I emphasized that we have to complete 100 marks question paper. Okay, and these 2 chapters, though having very less weightage, but they are very important. Whatever is covered in the study material is important. Okay, and in the CA course, selective study is not there. We are not supposed to do the selective study. If you skip these 2 chapters, around 12 to 14 marks you are going to lose. Okay, because your LLP questions comes in the main question number 2, and Indian regulatory around question number 5. So you have to skip 2 questions, main questions. It also hamper the other questions also. So I know that these chapters are you have to memorize. There are no concepts involved in it, but you have to remember the provisions and you have to do chapter 1 and chapter 5 LLP thoroughly. We have to attempt 100 marks, full 100 marks paper, only then you will be able to clear more than 60 marks. Okay, so our target is attempt 100 marks paper, study the entire study material. Okay, if you are having any query, you can chat to me and we can start the session. Yes, sir. Sir, over to you, sir. Please welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much. So, very good afternoon, everyone. First, we start with the 2 bad habits of CA students. First, जो मैम अभी आपसे डिस्कस कर चुकी हैं, रिवीजन. Most of them, most of you don't get the revision daily. बट प्रॉब्लम इज दैट कि अगर आप कोई ना कुछ कागज भी कोई गम से लगाते हैं ना, तो उसके ऊपर एक बार हाथ फेरते हैं प्रेस करने के लिए, तब वो जाके अच्छे से चिपकता है. एंड रिवीजन इज द सेम थिंग. You have to press your content, what you have discussed in the class, in your brain, and that can be possible by revision only. Second, revision, and second thing is important thing for examination point of view ki when you are making practice of question, please do in writing, do not do orally. And second is a bad habit is the way of taking online classes. Most of the students take what did they do, they on the mobile and just lay down in the bed and ऐसे देखते रहते हैं. तो ये इज नॉट परफेक्ट वे. कितना भी आप पढ़ लो ऐसे आपके दिमाग में नहीं जाए. तो प्रॉपर आप एक सिस्टम बनाइए, हर चीज का एक तरीका होता है. देन गो फॉर स्टडी. नाउ let's we start the unit number 3, but before it, as we always do, a revision of what we have discussed in the last class and a small self assessment test, right beta? एक सेकंड रुकिए. So fast revision for unit number 2, what we have discussed in the last class. Consideration section 2 clause D, which says when at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing something, such act or abstinence or promise is called a consideration for the promise. Come to the legal rules. Consideration must move at the desire of the promiser. It may move from the promisee or any other person. Chanaya versus Ramaya. It may be past, present, or future. There must be consideration, but need not to be the equal value of what you are giving. So consideration should be there, but need not be adequate. Consideration must be real and competent. Consideration should not be for existing obligations, existing duties. And next is consideration must not be illegal, immoral, bad character, and opposed to public policy. In the following cases, a third party can file the suit for consideration. In case of trust, beneficiary can file the suit. In case of marriage settlement, the person who is in the agreement for getting consideration can file the suit for recovery of those amount. Acknowledgement of liability. When you admit the liability, you cannot deny afterwards. Assignment of contract. In case of agency, there is no consideration requirement and covenants running with the land. Right? In the following, normally as per section 25, contract without consideration is void, but in the following cases, contract even without consideration is perfectly valid. First is a contract written and registered agreement based on natural love and affection between the near relatives. Main thing is it should be running, written and registered. Promise to pay past voluntary services means past consideration. Promise to pay time bar debt, but it should be written. No consideration required for agency. Gifts, completed gifts. In case of bailment may be for consideration, may be for without consideration. And charity. The contract of charity is valid even without consideration. So this was the revision what we have discussed in the last class. Please prepare this sheet. Good afternoon हो गई सबसे. So let's start the first question. The term consideration in legal terms is defined in section 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D. For detailed discussion in the contract of agency, we will have unit number 9. But at present, for the point of view of unit number 3, unit number 2, agency maybe without consideration. Second thing is, on the contracts entered by the agent, principal can claim. The answer is section 2, clause D. Which of the following statements are correct? Consideration may be past, present, or future. Consideration may be either positive or negative. Consideration must move at the desire of promisor. Consideration must be furnished by the promisee himself. Because this is self-assessment test, you need not to send the answers, right? You have to check yourself. So the right answer is point number 1, 2, and 3 are correct. 4 is not correct. The forbearances to sue is regarded as invalid consideration, no consideration, valid consideration, none of these. The answer is valid consideration. A founds B's purse and give it to him. B promised to give rupees 500 to A as reward. In this case, for B's promise, there is past consideration, present consideration, future consideration, no consideration. नेगेटिव कंसिडरेशन कोई शब्द ही नहीं है, तो ऑप्शन में डाल दिया तो है ही नहीं, वैलिड ही नहीं. The answer is it is past consideration. An agreement without consideration between the parties who are in near relation to each other is valid and enforceable if the agreement is in writing, registered, based on natural love and affection. All of these. नहीं बेटे, सेकंड ऑप्शन में ना ऑप्शन हो सकता है, बट वो राइट ऑप्शन में मैंने डाल दिया आपको हटाने के लिए, वो तो आपको हटाना ही है उसमें से. The answer is D, all of these. For the enforcement of the promise to pay a time-barred debt without consideration, which of the following conditions is not required? It must be in writing, it must be definite and express, it must be signed by the promisor, it must be registered in the court of law. The answer is D, not required. As per the rule of privity of contract, a stranger to contract cannot sue, stranger to consideration cannot sue, stranger to contract can sue, none of the above. The answer is as per rule of privity of contract, stranger to contract cannot sue, right? Must move at the desire of promisor, which offer, acceptance, consideration, obligation. The answer is consideration. Their space can be, cannot be, must always be a stranger to consideration. नहीं, मैं आपकी क्वेरी लेता हूँ बेटा, ये वो क्वेश्चन हो जाए, लेता हूँ क्वेरी आपकी. There can be. Next point, last question. No concession, no contract does not apply to completed gift. Does not apply. ये तो आंसर अपने आप ही आ गया. एक क्वेरी थी नेहा की, नेहा वहां पे जो लाइन थी ना उसके अकॉर्डिंग अगर हम चलेंगे ना तो कंसिडरेशन में भी आइदर पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव. तो यहाँ वैसे नेगेटिव कंसिडरेशन नहीं है, बट यहाँ पे एक फ्लो में आ रहा है. देन यहाँ नेगेटिव का मतलब है फॉरबियरेंसेस, राइट. पॉजिटिव मीन्स एक्ट, नेगेटिव मीन्स फॉरबियरेंसेस. ठीक है. और कौन सी क्वेरी है? 6 क्वेश्चन. आई जस्ट टेक. ओके, रोनित गुड. सर इट मस्ट बी रजिस्टर्ड इन कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ. नहीं चाहिए. यस बेटा, रजिस्ट्रेशन जरूरत नहीं है उसमें. 10 on 10. वेरी गुड कार्तिकेय. सलोनी वेरी गुड बेटा. चलिए, ठीक है. वेरी गुड बच्चे. ओके, एक क्वेश्चन 6 के लिए कहा है मुझे. 6 क्वेश्चन. फॉर द एनफोर्समेंट ऑफ प्रॉमिस टू पे ए टाइम बार डेट विदाउट कंसिडरेशन, which of the following condition is not required? तो must be writing होना चाहिए. must be definite and express, ये भी सही required है. must be signed by the promisor, ये भी required है. and must be registered in court of law, ये required नहीं. this is not required. So the right answer was D. Good, Akshit. Very good. So now let's start the unit number 3, other essential elements of contract. Basically, this unit has 3 parts. So we will complete first part and some slot of second part. And rest will be completed in the next class. Right, bachcho? Other essential elements. So first part is capacity to contract, in which we will discuss major, sound mind person and not disqualified. In free consent, we will discuss section 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19A up to 23. Then we will discuss lawful object and consideration, and very small part is not expressly declared void. So today we will discuss capacity to contract and up to section 16 in free consent. Okay. So let's start the part 1, capacity to contract. Capacity to contract meaning the person who are capable to enter into the contract. If a person is not capable to enter into the contract, if the contract is entered by him, is perfectly void. So first of all, you should understand who are the people who are capable to enter into the contract, right? Capacity refers to the competence of the parties to make a contract. Now, first question is, who is competent? It means who are the person they are capable to enter into the contract as per the law. So section 11 provides every person who has attained the age of majority age of majority, and he is of sound mind and not disqualified, otherwise disqualified from contracting, is competent to contract. Age of majority means he must be the major. He should be the age of over 18 years, right? He is of the sound mind. Sound mind means the person who is getting in his who is getting sound in his mind. It means the person who can understand the offer or acceptance of other person by other person, and can make the rational judgment. यानी वो समझने की शक्ति के अंदर होनी चाहिए, and is not otherwise disqualified from contracting. Means those person who are major, who are of sound mind, but specifically disqualified by law for some reasons, right? They are capable. The person who should be the major should be of sound mind and not disqualified by law, should can enter into the contract. On the part of the analysis of this section 11, we find that following persons are incompetent. Incompetent. First is minor, who is under the age of 18, who is of unsound mind, and person disqualified by law of which they are subject, right? So come to the first point, minor. As per the Indian Majority Act, Act 9 of 1875, a minor is a person who has not completed the age of 18. So you can say the minor is like a kid. Minor is kid. और kid कौन होता है? Who is kid? Is God. बच्चा भगवान होता है. So you will find that what privileges are available in the law for minor. Just discuss. Come to the position of contract with minor. Position of contract with minor. A contract with or by minor is void ab initio. Void ab initio means from very beginning. From very beginning. It means a minor is not competent to contract, and any agreement by with or by minor is void from the very beginning. The most important case on this point is Mohari Bibi versus Dharamdas Ghosh. Dharamdas is a minor person, age of under 18, age of 17 years. Approach Mohari Bibi. Mohari Bibi was the money lender in the village, and she provides the advances to the people against the security. So Dharamdas approaches Mohari Bibi for a loan of 20,000, and he provides the papers of his house as a security. On that day, the money lender, that is Mohari Bibi, has provided him only 8,000 and asked for 12,000 on the next day. But what actually happened on the next day? Dharamdas Ghosh filed the case in the court that I am the minor, and I am not eligible to enter the contract. So the contract with Mohari Bibi is void ab initio. So kindly provide my property papers back to me. Court said, yes, okay. The contract with you is void ab initio. The contract is cancelled. So Mohari Bibi must return the papers of his property. But Mohari Bibi has asked the court to provide him back rupees 8,000 what she has already given to the Dharamdas Ghosh. But Dharamdas Ghosh replied that they all are expended. वो मेरे से खर्च हो गए, मेरे पास नहीं है. The court said the contract with minor is void, and that person is not eligible to return if he has not that amount. So in this case, Mohari Bibi could not recover 8,000 from him. So please read this example once again, because we will discuss many places for this point. Please read. No, second point, important point, no ratification after attaining majority. Ratification means confirmation. Means if a contract was entered by the minor during his minority, cannot be confirmed even after he becomes major. Because the reason behind the contract when entered was void, and void contract cannot be converted into a valid at this point. So a minor cannot ratify the agreement on attaining the majority as the original agreement is void ab initio. See the example number 2. A minor makes a promissory note in the name of Y. It means X has making a promise to make the payment to Y, right? But X is the minor. On attaining majority, he makes a new promissory note in place of old one. Hence, the new promissory note which is executed after attaining majority is also void, being without consideration. Means because the consideration was received by minor at the time when he is minor, and he has given a promissory note for that payment which was void agreement, right? After attaining the majority, if he making a promissory note, a fresh promissory note for that transaction which was entered at the time of minority, which is void. So this transaction was also void because it is without consideration. Clear? Any doubt on the point number 1 and 2? Please tell me. Any doubt in point number 1 and 2? Please tell me. Okay. The next point is यशी के लिए सर हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन कर दो. देखो पहली चीज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट अगर माइनर के संग करते हैं वो वॉइड होता है. दूसरी बात, अगर माइनर ने कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया है जब वो माइनर था यानी 18 साल से पहले, तो उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को वो कंफर्म नहीं कर सकता 18 साल होने के बाद भी. वो ये नहीं कर सकता जब मेजर हो गया कि मैंने अपनी माइनॉरिटी के टाइम पर आपसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया था, वो उसका पेमेंट मैं आप कर रहा हूँ. नहीं, वो तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वॉइड था. अब वो नहीं हो सकता. ठीक है. Point number 2 says, suppose Mr. X is a minor. Mr. X is a minor and promised to make the payment. He has purchased, suppose Mr. X is a minor and purchased some, uh, suppose he purchased the scooter या bike at the time of minority from Mr. Y. Because the contract with X was minor, the contract is void ab initio. X has taken the bike, but Y cannot claim the payment because X was minor. After attaining the majority, X promised that I will make the payment of the bike. Now the payment is void. The contract is void because at this point when he is major, he is making the promise, but he is not getting anything at that time. The contract was entered at the time of minority was void and cannot be confirmed even after the majority. अभी क्लियर हुआ महक? If a minor को पेमेंट रिसीव करनी हो तो it means Neha is asking कि sir if minor को payment receive करनी हो, it means she is asking whether minor has the rights. We will discuss. क्या मोहरी बीबी को पैसे नहीं मिलेंगे? अगर वो पैसे खर्च कर दिए, धर्मदास क्वेश्चन जो हुआ था एक्चुअली, उन्होंने कहा पैसे खर्च हो गए मेरे पास, तो मोहरी बीबी को क्लेम नहीं कर सकते। Again, I am saying in point number 2, if a contract was entered by the minor is void and that contract cannot even be ratified, it cannot be confirmed even after the majority. See the example number 2. रोनित अभी प्लीज वेट करो, आपकी क्वेरी फर्स्ट इसी पार्ट की, लेकिन लास्ट की है, अभी रुक जाइए, वेट करिए। Sir, can't recover after attaining majority. Is that any reason? Law says reason is that law says the contract with minor is void because in the eyes of law, a minor is not capable to understand the terms of the contract. So they say the contract with minor will always be void. Sir, if minor has asset, then I'm coming on that point. Please wait. यशी वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि माइनर ने माइनॉरिटी के टर्म पे कार खरीद ली और बाद में वो मेजर हो गया, तो क्या प्राइस की लाइबल है? नहीं है, लाइव कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वॉइड है। अंजलि पूछ रही है, सर अगर मैं किसी से पैसे लोन पे लूं और प्रॉपर्टी के पेपर दे दूं तो उन पैसों को यूज करने के बाद भी अपनी प्रॉपर्टी पे पावर ले सकती हूँ? यस, अगर आप माइनर हैं तो। सर माइनर कैन बी बेनिफिशियरी, यस, अभी आ रहे हैं बेटा, एक एक करके पॉइंट पे ही आ रहे हैं। Minor can be beneficiary or can take benefit out of the contract. It means the provision provides that minor is not liable but has right to claim. See the example. A promissory note duly executed in favor of minor. In favor of minor means minor. Suppose X has made the promissory note by saying that I promise to make the payment of 1,000 to Mr. Y, and Y is minor. It means in this promissory note Y has the right, not the liability. So Y can claim the payment. अगर माइनर को राइट मिल रहे हैं तो क्लेम कर सकते हैं। A promissory note duly executed in favor of minor is not void and can be sued upon by him because he, though incompetent to contract, may yet accept a benefit. A minor cannot become a partner. Important है, इसे मार्क कर लीजिए। As per the Indian Contract Act, a minor cannot be a partner in the partnership firm. But specifically, Section 30 of the Indian Partnership Act 1932 provides if all partners are agree, a minor can be admitted in the partnership as partner for benefits only, not for liability. Right? A minor can always plead the minority. वो अपनी माइनॉरिटी की दुआएं दे सकता है कि सब में माइनर था। अगर वो छिपा रहा है अपनी माइनॉरिटी, if he is falsely representing that he was minor and actually he was falsely representing that he is major but actually he is minor, in that case, even in that case, minor will not be liable. माइनर झूठ बोल रहा है कि वो मेजर है, बेवकूफ बना रहा है, तब भी कहता कोर्ट नहीं भैया, क्यों बच्चा क्या होता है? बच्चा होता है भगवान का रूप, तो भगवान को सब चीज अलाउड है। राइट? सर माइनर के तो मजे ही मजे हैं, ये बात तो सही है, एज पर लॉ मजे ही मजे हैं, बट आप लोग डिसाइड करो आप लोगों में से कितने लोग माइनर हैं। सो सी द एग्जाम्पल नंबर 4. In case of Mori Bibi versus Dhamdas Ghosh, Mr. D misrepresented his age and money lender has paid him rupees 8,000. Dhamdas has misrepresented that he was major, but the court did not stop him from denying that he is minor and therefore not liable to pay the amount. Clear? Contract for supply of necessaries. As per the law, necessaries means required for daily life. And as per the law, the necessaries are food, cloth, education, shelter, roti, kapla, makan, or shiksha, basic needs. So for these requirements, or these necessaries, minor's personal estate means personal property is liable, but only if he has personal property. His guardians, his friends will not be liable. So minor is liable to pay out of his property for necessaries supplied to him by the other. Necessaries may be about necessary goods, food, cloth, and services like education. See the example number 5. Shruti, being a minor, purchased a laptop for her online classes of rupees 70,000 on credit from a shop. But her asset could pay only 20,000. So the shopkeeper could not hold Shruti personally liable and could recover only amount recoverable through her asset, that is up to 20,000. Shruti has assets of only 20,000. So she is liable only up to 20,000. And that's also because the laptop was his necessity. Any doubt in point number 4 or 5? Sir, why all the benefits were given to the minors? Actually, the purpose of law on this point is not for benefit to minor. As per the law, minor is the person who is not capable to understand. And the person who is entering into the contract with minor, major person, who is entering into the contract with minor is capable to understand what he is providing, what he is getting. So if you are capable, you can make fraud to the minor. You can cheat the minor. So to refrain from that loss to the minor, these provisions are made. So if you are major, you must have the knowledge of the law, and even that you are entering the contract with minor, then it's your responsibility. अगर आपको पता है लॉ की जानकारी होनी चाहिए, आप नहीं है लॉ की जानकारी, ये आपका फॉल्ट है. लॉ की जानकारी होने के बाद भी आप कॉन्टेक्ट कर रहे हैं किसी बच्चे के साथ, नादान के साथ, तो फिर आप रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं, लॉ रिस्पॉन्सिबल नहीं. ओके. फिफ्थ पॉइंट एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए. नहीं बताया ना मैंने, जो रोटी कपड़ा शिक्षा मकान है, ये उसकी पर्सनल रिक्वायरमेंट, बेसिक नीड्स है, और इनके लिए उसकी जो अपनी प्रॉपर्टी है अगर है तो वो लायबिल होगी. अब जैसे एग्जांपल नंबर 5 में क्या था, 70,000 का लैपटॉप था, पढ़ने के लिए, एजुकेशन के लिए, बेसिक नीड के लिए लिया, और उसमें क्या है, उसके पास पैसे कितने थे, 20,000. तो दुकानदार ने को कितने पैसे मिलेंगे, केवल 20,000, जो उसकी एसेट अलाउ है. राइट. Sir, if Shruti is not liable to pay 50,000, Shruti इसमें है, that's also I'm saying. Shruti is not liable to make the payment of 50,000. So what would be the 50,000? The loss to the shopkeeper, right? फोर्थ पॉइंट समझा दीजिए. चलो भैया, फोर्थ पॉइंट समझ लो क्या है. Minor can always plead minority. In simple words, if minor is falsely representing, falsely saying that he is major, but actually he is minor, even that the benefit to the minor, right? Ravi, is clear? सर, लग्जरी के लिए असेट्स लायबल नहीं होती माइनर की. यस. नाउ कम टू द सिक्स्थ पॉइंट. This point I've already discussed. Minor cannot enter into contract of partnership, but he can be the partner as per the section 30 of Indian Partnership Act if all other partners are agree to taking him as for benefits only. A minor cannot be adjusted insolvent, cannot be declared insolvent. Who is the insolvent person? The person who cannot solve his liability, who cannot pay his liability is called insolvent. जो अपनी liability pay नहीं कर पाता है उसे हम क्या बोलते हैं? Insolvent. So minor has never liabilities, so how it can be insolvent? Minor has not to make the payment of any liability, so he cannot be insolvent. Any doubt in point number 6 and 7? No, sir. Point number 7 क्या कह रहा है? Minor cannot be declared insolvent because minor has no liability. Well, first of all, you should understand the meaning of insolvent. Insolvent is person, insolvent बोलते हैं दिवालिया. Insolvent is the person who cannot pay off his liabilities. So minor has no liability, then how it can be insolvent, right? Clear, Ujjwal? Now, minor cannot bind parents or guardian. Simple words. For the contracts entered by the minor, even the parents and guardian will not be liable. यानी आप अगर माइनर है आपने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया तो आपके पेरेंट्स उसके लायबल नहीं है. In the absence of authority express or implied, a minor is not capable of binding his parents or guardian, even for necessaries. Even for necessaries. The parents will be held liable only when the child is acting as an agent of parents. Means if parents has asked the kid to purchase, to enter into the contract anything on behalf of parents, यानी पेरेंट्स ने अपने बच्चे को बोला भैया तू ये लिया दुकान से, तो एट दैट टाइम द किड इज वर्किंग एज एजेंट ऑफ द पेरेंट्स. इन दैट केस पेरेंट विल बी लायबल ओनली. कि अगर पेरेंट्स प्रिंसिपल है और बच्चा एजेंट है, ऐसे एजेंट जा रहा है उनके लिए, उनके बिहाफ पे करने जा रहा है, तो वो लायबल होगा, पेरेंट्स लायबल होंगे, अदरवाइज पेरेंट्स लायबल नहीं होंगे. सी द एग्जांपल नंबर 6. Richa, a minor, entered into a contract of buying a scooty from dealer and mentioned that her parents will be liable for the payment of scooty. The dealer sent a letter to the parent for money. The parent will not be liable for such payment as the contract was entered by a minor in their absence and out of their. Next point, minor can be agent. Minor can be agent because minor is working on behalf of the principal, and for every contract entered by the agent, principal will be liable. So if principal should be the major, principal cannot be minor, but agent can be minor, and any contract entered by agent, principal will be liable. A minor can act as agent, but he will not be liable to this principal for his act. A minor can draw, deliver and endorse negotiable instrument without himself being liable. माइनर जो भी काम कर रहा है एज एजेंट उसके लिए प्रिंसिपल लायबल होगा, माइनर विल नॉट बी लायबल. सी द एग्जांपल नंबर 7. A minor can have an account in the bank. He can draw a check for his purchase, but he shall not be liable for check bounces, nor can he be sued under the court of law for any fraud done from his. Please read it once again this example. भाई किड ने अकाउंट तो खुलवा लिया, पर उसके लिए अगर वो खुल जाता है अकाउंट तो चेक इशू कर रहा है, लेकिन वो लायबल नहीं होगा चेक बाउंस हो गया तो. इफ बोथ आर माइनर, बोथ मीन्स Mac is asking both are minor. Both means both parties are minor. तो contract तो वैसे ही void हो गया. Who can claim? Principal cannot be minor. If any principal is minor, contract is void. Example number 7 saying a minor can have account in the bank. He can issue the check because he has the payment in the account. But if the check is bounced, and he will not be liable for it. So normally in present case, in present scenario, minor account is opened but under the guidance of the parents. Joint contract by minor and adult. If a contract is jointly entered, suppose Mr. X and Y has purchased, Mr. X and Y has purchased a bike. X and Y has purchased the bike on credit. X is minor, Y is major. So only Y will be liable, X will not be liable. Right? If a contract is entered jointly by minor and adult, the adult only will be liable. Surety, guarantor. In a contract of guarantee, when an adult stands surety for minor, then minor adult is liable for third party as the direct contract between the surety and the third party. Normally, what happened in case of guarantee, actually, it is a unit number 7 in section 126. But at this place, what I'm see the example number 8. What I am trying to explain. Mr. X guaranteed for the purchase of mobile phone by Krish, a minor. Krish, minor has purchased a mobile phone, and the guarantee for that payment is made by Mr. X. क्या हुआ? कृष ने मोबाइल खरीदा, X ने गारंटी दी. X मेजर है. X कौन है? मेजर. X है मेजर. इसने गारंटी दी है. क्या गारंटी दी है? कि भैया कृष को मोबाइल भेज दो. माइनर है, अगर ये पेमेंट नहीं करेगा तो आई विल मेक द पेमेंट. बट इन दिस केस, if Krish fails to make the payment, Mr. X will have to make the payment. Clear इतनी बात? Any query up to this point? पर गारंटी कौन से सेक्शन में? जब सेक्शन चैप्टर यूनिट 7 पढ़ेंगे तो क्लियर हो जाएगा बेटे. जो अभी मत जाओ, देखो स्टेप बाय स्टेप चलेंगे तो आसान रहेगा आपके लिए. राइट? माइनर एज ए शेयर होल्डर. देखिए, वन थिंग यू शुड नोट, difference between allotment and transfer of shares. When we talk about the allotment of share, it means direct contact with company, in which company allot the shares in the name of person who has applied. Right? Transfer of shares, when I suppose I want to make that, I have already allotted shares and I want to sell, it means the transfer of share. Right? So first you understand the difference between allotment and the transfer. Now, a minor being incompetent to contract cannot be shareholder of the company. It means a minor cannot apply for shares and company should not allot the share to the minor. If by mistakes become a member, the company can resign the transaction and remove the name from register. By mistakenly, if company has allotted the share in the name of minor, the company will cancel that transaction. Right? But a minor may acting though through his lawful guardian become a shareholder by transfer or transmission of fully paid shares. It means suppose I have already shares of Reliance company and I want to transfer to my child, my son, which is who is minor. So it is possible if shares are fully paid. Important thing is no liability on the shares. Right? Next point, a liability for torts. A minor was held liable for his failure to return certain instrument which he had hired and then passed on the friends. Civil wrongs. So you need not to go in the depth of this point, just see the example, it will be helpful for you. Okay, if a minor has taken borrow some instrument or has taken on hire but he has not returned that instrument and he has passed to his friend. Now he will be liable. The law says if there's something wrong by the something wrong done by the um, minor, he will be liable. But only this example is there, only single case is there, so you need not to go in the depth of this point, right? Direct contract between surety and third party means that contract is between surety and third party. Actually, it is presumed. It will be presumed that there is a direct contract between surety and the third party if the principal on which behalf the guarantee is given is minor. क्योंकि भाई उसकी liability नहीं होगी. Second point, in 12th point, Neha asking sir, what is the repeat 12th point? एक second बच्चा. 12th point क्या कह रहा है कि minor cannot be a shareholder by direct allotment, but share can be transferred in the name of minor if shares are fully paid and should be under the by lawful guardian. One thing. Second, 6th point I've already discussed. 6th point which says which 6th point provides that a minor cannot be a partner as per Indian Contract Act, but Section 30 of the Indian Partnership Act, Act 1932 provides a minor can be admitted in a partnership firm for benefits only with the consent of all other partners, right? Now, the person of sound mind. Section 12 provides a person is said to be the sound mind for the purpose of making the contract. For the purpose of contract, if at the time when he makes, he is capable of understanding it and forming the rational judgment as to its effect upon his interest. Yani he could understand what other party is saying. Second, what would be the effect on his interest. कि वो ये समझ सकता हो कि जो सामने वाला क्या कह रहा है और उससे उसके ऊपर क्या इफेक्ट पड़ने वाला है. इट इज कॉल्ड द पर्सन ऑफ साउंड माइंड. इन सिंपल भाषा में बात करें, द पर्सन ऑफ अनसाउंड माइंड मीन्स द पर्सन हु इज नॉट गेटिंग साउंड इन हिज माइंड. अनसाउंड कौन है? जिससे आप कुछ भी करें दिमाग में नहीं जा रहा उसके. अनसाउंड माइंड. इन नॉर्मल लैंग्वेज वी कैन से दिस मैड पर्सन. मैड पर्सन, पागल आदमी. एंड यू नो the Content Act provide the category of this type of person. पागल की भी कैटेगरी बताई है. फर्स्ट इज idiot. Second is lunatic. And third is intoxicant. ठीक है. Idiot means the person who is completely unsound mind. Who is completely unsound. यानी 24 के 24 घंटे वो पागल रहता है, दिमाग ही काम नहीं करता. So the contract with idiot is void. The contract with idiot is void. Lunatic person, the person who is mostly unsound, but sometimes he becomes sound. And third one is intoxicant person. Intoxicant person means the person who is normally sound, but sometimes कभी कुछ लगा लिया उनने तो दिमाग ने काम करना बंद कर दिया. जैसे हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं, नशेड़ी. That intoxicant person, right? So the contract with idiot is always void. The lunatic person can enter into the contract only when he is of sound mind. The intoxicant person cannot enter in the contract when he is not sound mind. Idiot के संग contract void है. Lunatic सही हो तभी contract कर सकता है. इंटॉक्सिकेंट के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट उस समय नहीं हो सकता जिस समय उसका दिमाग काम नहीं कर रहा था. तो लेट्स डिस्कस वन बाय वन. सर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बाय गार्जियन हाउ फार एनफोर्सेबल प्लीज एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए। तो ये गार्जियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे तो केवल अगर वो एज ए एजेंट कह रहे हैं माइनर से करने के लिए तो वो गार्जियन लायबल होंगे, अदरवाइज गार्जियन लायबल नहीं होंगे। ठीक है, कम टू द इडियट। एन इडियट इज अ पर्सन हु हैज कंप्लीटली लॉस्ट हिज मेंटल पावर्स। जो आप एक दूसरे को ऐड करते हो इडियट, खासकर गर्ल्स करती हैं दूसरे को इडियट। इडियट का मतलब समझ लो लॉ की भाषा में, द पर्सन हु इज कंप्लीटली अनसाउंड, जो दिमागी काम नहीं कर रहा है, एंड द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद दिस पर्सन इज परफेक्टली void. Lunatic. Lunatic is the person who is usually of unsound mind. Usually of unsound mind, but occasionally of sound mind. कभी कभी सही आता है, and he can make the contract when he is of sound mind. When he is of sound mind, यानी वो उस समय कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर सकता है जिस समय वो सही हो। So, to whom the burden of proof? To whom is the burden of proof whether the person, lunatic person, was sound mind when when he was entered into contract? ये कौन साबित करेगा कि वो सही आदमी था जिस समय कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ? तो इन केस ऑफ lunatic person, because maximum mostly time it is of unsound, because mostly time it is of unsound, the court will presume the contract was entered at the time when he is of unsound mind. 24 में से 23 घंटे पागल था तो लॉ क्या मानेगी, भैया ये 23 घंटे में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ है। सो द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विद lunatic is void, but the person who was saying sir no, contract is perfectly valid, the contract was entered at the time when this person was sound mind, so he has to prove. It means normally the contract with lunatic person is void. If the person is saying, if any of the party is saying the contract was entered at the time when he is of sound mind, he has to prove. So what says law says, the burden of proving of sound mind at the time of making the contract lies on the person who affirms. किस पर प्रूफ साउंड माइंड किसे प्रूफ करना है? जो ये कहता है कि वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सही था, वैलिड था। क्लियर? एनी डाउट इन दीज 2 पॉइंट्स प्लीज टेल मी। Any doubt in these 2 points? मॉडल में डी टॉपिक नहीं है। अरे होगा भैया, जाते देखो, ऐसा नहीं है। सर अक्षित कह रहे हैं सर डाउट है ल्यूनेटिक में, क्या डाउट है बताइए प्लीज। नाउ थर्ड कैटेगरी, सर ल्यूनेटिक ने इडियट के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर लिया तो भैया, ल्यूनेटिक ने अगर इडियट के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर लिया और ल्यूनेटिक उस समय सही था तो भैया कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इडियट से तो वॉइड हो गया ना। इडियट, अगर एक पार्टी इडियट हो गई तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वैसे ही वॉइड हो गया, दूसरे को देखना ही नहीं है। क्लियर? ड्रंकन और इंटॉक्सिकेटेड पर्सन और पर्सन इनकेपेबल टू अंडरस्टैंड ड्यू टू एज और डिसीज, यानी वो बीमार था, बुजुर्ग था, इस चक्कर समझ नहीं पाया। तो अ पर्सन हु इज यूजुअली ऑफ साउंड माइंड बट ऑकेशनली ऑफ अनसाउंड माइंड may not make a contract when he is of unsound mind. ठीक है, बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ इसमें थोड़ा सा करेक्शन कर लीजिए। बर्डन ऑफ प्रूविंग अनसाउंड माइंड, burden of burden of proving unsound mind at the time of contract lies on the person who denies the validity of contract. Because in this case, person is maximum time is sound mind. Because in this case, the person is maximum time is sound mind. The court will assume that contract was entered at the time when the person is of sound mind. So if any person is saying, sir, no, sir, ये contract void है, उस समय ये आदमी इंटॉक्सिकेंट था या जो दूसरा कह रहा मैं इंटॉक्सिकेंट था, तो it means you are denying the validity of the contract. You are denying the validity of contract. Now you have to prove that the person, one party, is intoxicated or unsound mind at the time of entering into the contract. Now ask your queries. Please ask your queries, बच्चे. बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ नहीं समझे, उज्जवल पूछ रहे हैं. देखिए, सपोज मैंने कॉन्टेक्ट किया मिस्टर एक्स के साथ. मिस्टर एक्स क्या है, वैसे सही है, पर कभी कुछ लगा लेते हैं तो दिमाग काम नहीं करता है. राइट, कॉन्टेक्ट हो गया. अब कोर्ट क्या प्रिज्यूम करेगा, कॉन्टेक्ट क्या है, परफेक्टली वैलिड है, क्योंकि मोस्टली टाइम मिस्टर एक्स क्या थे, सही रहते हैं. तो वो कोर्ट क्या प्रिज्यूम कर रहा है, कॉन्टेक्ट कब हुआ, जिस समय मिस्टर एक्स सही थे. अब मैं कह रहा हूं, या सपोज मिस्टर एक्स कह रहे हैं, नहीं सर, मेरे को धोखे से किया गया है, मैं तो उस समय दिमाग ही काम नहीं कर रहा था, मैं तो पागल था, उस समय कुछ लगा रखा था मैंने, होश नहीं था मुझे. So he has to prove, because he is denying the validity of contract. Mr. X is denying the validity of contract. So he has to prove that contract was entered at the time when he is of unsound mind. Clear हुआ बेटा? सर आप कैसे प्रूफ करेंगे, मैं प्रूफ नहीं करना है, एक्स को प्रूफ करना है. इस समय मैं समझने की हालत में नहीं था, मैं अनसाउंड माइंड था जिस समय मैंने कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन किया, मुझे धोखे से साइन कराया गया. इट मीन्स ही इज डिनाइंग द वैलिडिटी ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. क्लियर इतनी बात? क्लियर हुआ उज्जवल? अब हाउ ही प्रूव, भैया ये तो उसे प्रूव करना है, ये मेडिकल रिपोर्ट कराए, वो भी उसे प्रूव करना है. लॉ सिर्फ ये बताता है कि क्या चीज प्रूव करनी है, कैसे प्रूव करना है, वो कैसे प्रूव करना है ये लॉ ने नहीं. एविडेंस दीजिए, एविडेंस आपको इकट्ठे करते हैं. राइट. एक पॉइंट और था सर, ल्यूनेटिक का पॉइंट बता दीजिए. ल्यूनेटिक में डिस्कस किया था, ल्यूनेटिक द पर्सन हु इज मोस्टली ऑफ अनसाउंड माइंड बट सम टाइम ही बिकम्स साउंड माइंड. So he cannot enter, he can enter into the contract when he is of sound mind. In normal case, court will presume the contract is void because it is because lunatic person is mostly time is unsound mind. So the person who says the contract is valid, he has to prove that the lunatic person was capable to understand at the time of contract. He is of sound mind, right? अभी कोई डाउट बचा क्या यहां तक पे? अभी कोई डाउट? Now the third category, disqualified for contract. It means the person who is major, he is of sound mind, but even he cannot enter into the contract because he is in the following categories. Right? ये वो मतलब मेजर भी है, साउंड माइंड भी है, फिर भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि उस पर रेस्ट्रिक्शन लगाई गई है. क्या रेस्ट्रिक्शन देखते हैं? First is alien enemy. Alien enemy is the person who is the citizen of foreign country which is at war with India. The country which is at war with India. जिसमें युद्ध चल रहा हो, उस जिस देश के साथ युद्ध चल रहा हो, उस देश के नागरिक को क्या बोलेंगे हम? एलियन एनिमी. So if the contract made during the war, the contract is void. अगर वॉर के टाइम कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा है तो वो सिर्फ वैसे ही वॉइड हो गया. बट इफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट इज एंटर्ड बिफोर द वॉर एंड वॉर वॉज इनिशिएटेड आफ्टर द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वॉज ऑलरेडी एंटर्ड, तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट विल बी ऑन सस्पेंशन. After the war, contract will be revived. But if the country thinks that this contract will be harmful, this contract will be harmful for our country, the that contract can be permanently void. देखिए, अगर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जिस समय वॉर हुआ उस समय कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा है तो वॉइड होगा. अगर वॉर से पहले कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो गया है तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या हो जाएगा, सस्पेंड हो जाएगा, रोक दिया जाएगा उसी प्लेस पर, और वॉर खत्म होने के बाद तो चालू कर देंगे, रिवाइव कर देंगे. लेकिन अगर कंट्री को लगता है नहीं भैया ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट तो हमारे लिए हार्मफुल है, हमारी कंट्री के लिए हार्मफुल है, तो वो हमेशा के लिए वॉइड हो जाएगा. नेक्स्ट पॉइंट इज फॉरेन रूलर्स. तो प्रॉब्लम इज दैट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वॉइड नहीं है, बट प्रॉब्लम क्या है, सी they can enter into the contract and enforce those contracts in our courts, but an Indian citizen has to obtain the prior sanction of the central government in order to sue them in our law courts. An ex-king can however be sued against in our court without any such sanction. Means अगर किसी if any person is the ruler of other country, you can enter into the contract, but if you want to file the case in our court, you have to take the permission from central government. So not disqualified, it is restricted person, right? But if the ex ruler, past ruler, अभी present में ruler नहीं है, he is the normal person, you can enter into the contract and you can file the suit. If he has made a default in performance, you can file the suit against him in our, right? चिन्नैया वर्सेस रमैया केस में डॉटर माइनर होती तो कोर्ट का डिसीजन क्या होता. फर्स्ट थिंग, अगर चिन्नैया वर्सेस रमैया में अगर डॉटर माइनर होती तो उसकी प्रॉपर्टी के लिए कोई ना कोई केयर टेकर होता एज पर कोर्ट, राइट, उसके डिसीजन लेने के लिए, तो ही विल बी लायबल, दैट पर्सन विल बी लायबल. Next point, corporations like companies. Law says corporations there have their own rules and regulation. Their rules and regulation in the form of memorandum of association company of memorandum articles. So they have to follow their rules and regulation what have decided in the MOA. For example, normally a person can enter into the contract for taking the loan of 5 lakhs. Normal hai, it is valid. But if it was mentioned in the MOA and AOA, a director can take the loan only on behalf of company only up to 3 lakhs. On behalf of company only up to 3 lakhs. So if director is taking the loan of more than 3 lakhs, he will be disqualified. He cannot take as per the MOA. Next point is insolvent. Insolvent person who is not capable to pay off his liabilities, or liability pay नहीं कर सकता. So when he is under the liability, he is incapable to pay the liability of the previous contract. So if you cannot enter with him in the new contract. भैया जो आदमी पहले से पेमेंट नहीं कर पाया उससे नया कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्यों कर रहे हो आप, वैसे भी नहीं कर पाएगा तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट डिस्क्वालिफाइड है. अगर आप करते हो तो आप जानो, कोर्ट कुछ नहीं करेगी इसमें. कन्विक्ट्स, कन्विक्ट अपराधी, अ कन्विक्ट व्हेन अंडरगोइंग इम्प्रिजनमेंट, जब तक वो जेल में है, इज इनकैपेबल. सजा पूरी हो जाती है, इफ ही हैज कंप्लीटेड हिज पेनल्टी और प्रोसिक्यूशन, देन ही कैन एंटर इनटू द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, राइट. नाउ आस्क योर क्वेरीज. सेकंड पॉइंट कौन सा समझ नहीं आया बेटा को? फॉरेन रूलर्स, व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, law says contract with foreign rulers like इस समय अमेरिका का राष्ट्रपति कौन है? ठीक है, डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प साहब हैं, उनके संग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं, कर लीजिए. लेकिन आप अगर मान लीजिए उन्होंने पेमेंट नहीं किया, सपोज डोनाल्ड ट्रम्प इंडिया में आते हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, इंडिया में आते हैं और वो होटल इंडिया में आते हैं, आगरा में ही आते हैं ताजमहल देखने और होटल बुक करते हैं, सबसे बड़ा होटल बुक करते हैं, पैसे दिए उन्हें चले जाते हैं। तो वो हमारा जो होटल वाला उनसे पैसे क्लेम करने के सूट फाइल नहीं कर सकता, करेगा तो पहले सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की परमिशन लेगा, तभी वो सूट फाइल कर सकता है, राइट। और क्या क्वेरी है? कॉर्पोरेशन इंसॉल्वेंट अगेन, अंजलि लिसन केयरफुली बेटा। कंपनी जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कंपनी है, कंपनी के अपने रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन होते हैं। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट इज जनरल लॉ एंड एमओए एंड एओए आर स्पेसिफिक लॉ फॉर द कंपनी। तो कोई भी कंपनी एमओए के बियॉन्ड नहीं जा सकती। अच्छा, नॉर्मली 5 लाख का लोन लेना कोई बुराई नहीं है, कोई इलीगल नहीं है, 5 लाख का लोन ले रहा हूं मैं तो। बट मान लो अगर लॉ में लिखा हुआ है, एमओए में लिखा हुआ है, कंपनी के एमओए में कि हमारे डायरेक्टर 3 लाख से ज्यादा का लोन नहीं ले सकते, एंड दे आर taking the law, they are applying for the loan of rupees 5 lakh, it is, they are disqualified, they cannot take, right. Insolvent means the person who is not capable to pay the liabilities. What are the liabilities which he has undertaken under the previous contracts? So he is defaulter in the previous contract, then you cannot enter, you should not enter in the new contract. पुरानी पुरानी लाइबिलिटी पे नहीं कर पाया तो नया कैसे पे करेगा, राइट। एम्बेसडर राजदूत को बोलते हैं, जो हमारे एम्बेसडर होते हैं, बिहाफ पर चलते हैं, कंट्री के बिहाफ पर रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, एम्बेसडर्स। सर वो कोर्ट में कब सूट फाइल कर सकता है? अगेंस्ट डोनाल्ड ट्रंप, जब डोनाल्ड ट्रंप अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति नहीं रहे, पास्ट किंग बन जाए, राइट। ये मैं डिस्कस कर चुका बच्चों आपसे। कॉर्पोरेशन डिस्कस कर दिया मैंने, महक। और कोई डाउट हो तो बताइए। कॉर्पोरेशन बता दिया मैंने, कोई डाउट रघुल, एनी डाउट इन कॉर्पोरेशन? आई हैव रिपीटेड। Once again, I am repeating point number 3, corporations. Listen. Do you have any idea what is MOA and AOA? The rules in which rules and regulations are mentioned for the company. Suppose the company is ABC Limited, and ABC Limited provides in its MOA that directors are allowed to take the loan on behalf of companies only up to 3 lakhs. So you tell me, in this case, whether director can take the loan of 5 lakhs on behalf of company? The answer is no. It means whether to take the loan of 5 lakhs illegal, no, but specifically mentioned in the MOA of the AOA of the corporation. So this point says that corporations have their own rules and regulations. So company has to follow their rules and regulation, or corporation has to follow their own rules and regulation, and those rules and regulations are in the form of MOA and AOA, right? अभी क्लियर हुआ क्या? पर पर्सन के जेल में जाने से पहले कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ था तो कन्विक्ट ही होगा। कन्विक्ट जिस समय वो पर्सन जेल में है, अपनी सजा काट रहा है, उस समय वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं कर सकता, राइट। ओके, सो लेट्स स्टार्ट फॉर सुपर ओवर। ठीक है, आफ्टर दैट वी विल हैव द ब्रेक ऑफ 5 मिनट्स। ठीक है, अभी इसको कंप्लीट करिए, एंड प्लीज लिसन वंस अगेन, आई एम सेइंग ऑल ऑफ यू, टू ऑल ऑफ यू, दैट सेंड ऑल द आंसर्स in one message, right? every person is competent to contract who is of the age of majority, age of minority, sound reputation, sound financial position. Mahek is asking, sir, director cannot have take more than 3 lakh loan on behalf of company. ऐसा नहीं है. If specifically mentioned in the MOA or AOA, then he is capable to take the loan only up to the 3 lakhs. ये आंसर नहीं भेजने, एक बार में भेजने सारे आंसर. अभी वेट जल्दी जल्दी मत कीजिए बच्चों. Next, a drunken or intoxicant person is not competent to contract as he falls in the category of person disqualified by law, person of unsound mind, person discarded by society, enemies of society. On attaining the age of majority, an agreement entered into during his minority becomes voidable, become valid, can be ratified by him, cannot be ratified by him. A minor can be declared as insolvent, cannot be declared insolvent, can be declared insolvent for limited purpose, is regarded as insolvent under law. A contract made by an idiot is valid, void, voidable, illegal. A person below space 15 years, 17 years, 18 years, 21 years is minor for the purpose of entering into the contract. चलिए आंसर चेक करते हैं फिर. Every person is competent to contract who is age of the majority. A drunken or intoxicated person is not competent to contract as he falls in the category of unsound mind. On attaining the age of majority, an agreement entered into during his minority becomes voidable, becomes valid, can be ratified by him, cannot be ratified by him. It cannot be ratified by him. A minor cannot be declared as insolvent. A contract made by idiot is void. A person below the age of 18 years is minor, right? So let's see. The person who have given all the correct answer is Trupati Mohanty, Khalid, Ujjwal, Bindia, Saloni, सयाली, नेहा, रोनित, अरिता, अल्फिया, right. So these were the answers and the persons who have given all the correct answers. एक बार यहाँ और चेक कर लेते हैं. Mr. Mandape Deepak, right? So at this place we are having a break of 5 minutes. 5 मिनट का ब्रेक लेते हैं और फिर अपनी क्लास रिज्यूम करते हैं. ठीक है. थैंक यू सर. थैंक यू. Miss Mystica. Sir, what is the full form of AOA? Articles of Association. तो पढ़ा होगा आपने 11th 12th में. Now come to the part 2, free consent. I have already discussed this slide in the my first class in the topic essential elements of contract. Consent, section 13, which says two persons should be agree in the same thing. Agree on the same thing on the same sense, and this is called consensus ad idem. It means suppose Mr. X asks Mr. Y for purchase of the plant, and Mr. X is thinking about this plant, and Mr. Y is thinking about this plant and machinery. So in this case, both are not agreeing on the same thing in the same sense. दोनों के दिमाग में अलग चल रहा है. So it is not consent. It is not called consent. Or if consent is not there, there is no contract. If consent is not there, there is no contract. Right? So when two persons are agree on the same thing in the same sense are called, there is consensus. दोनों की consensus बनी हुई है. Right? So now come to the point. We have discussed consent, section 13. Now topic is free consent, section 14. It means consent is there, but it is not free. So consent is said to be free as per section 14 when it is not caused by, it is not affected by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and mistake. Coercion, undue influence, fraud, and misrepresentation. Please note by marking that for point number 1, 2, 3, 4, contract will be voidable. And I would already discuss the concept of voidable in unit number 1. ठीक है, ये मैं already discuss कर चुका हूँ बच्चों आपसे. And in case of mistake, contract either will be valid or will be void. So in today's session, we will discuss section number 15 and section number 16. So let's start for section number 15, coercion. Coercion is normally known as physical torture, physical pressure. Section 15 provides a consent is said to be caused by coercion when it is obtained, when consent is obtained by committing or threatening. Commit करना और threatening में तो धमकी देना. By committing or threatening any act forbidden by IPC. Any act forbidden by IPC, Indian Penal Code. और unlawful detaining, कब्जा करना, रोक के रखना, और threatening to detain any property, property को detain करने की धमकी देना. So if the consent of a person is taking by creating any crime or setting to commit any crime, and that consent is said taken by coercion. See the example. X says to Mr. Y. X says to Mr. Y, I shall kill your son unless you agree to sell your house to me for rupees 5,000. If Y says, okay, sir, all right, I shall sell my house to you for rupees 5,000, but please do not kill my son. मैं आपको 5,000 में अपना घर बेच दूंगा, लेकिन आप प्लीज मेरे बेटे को मत मारिए. And in this case, Mr. Y, the consent of Mr. Y is obtained by coercion. Right? One more example for point number B. For one more example, point number B. X says to Y, I shall not return the document of your title. That document title means property, registered paper, registry papers, ownership papers, document of ownership. relating to your wife's property unless you agree to sell your house to me for 5,000. यानी कि मैं आपकी वाइफ की प्रॉपर्टी के पेपर है वो मैं जब्त करके रखा हूँ, वापस नहीं करूंगा अगर आपने मुझे अपना घर 5,000 में नहीं बेचा. वाइफ सेज ऑल राइट सर आई शैल सेल माई हाउस. ठीक है, बेच दूंगा. तो इन दिस केस द कंसेंट ऑफ वाई ऑब्टेन बाय कोर्शन. ऑब्टेन बाय कोर्शन. Any doubt on this point? Sir, I am explaining in English and just repeating in Hindi. Again, I am repeating. When consent is obtained by giving the threat or by committing any act which is forbidden, prohibited by Indian Penal Code, any criminal act. So that say, then it is said the consent is obtained by coercion. Okay. What are the consequences of coercion? Section 19 provides contract is voidable at the option of the parties whose consent was so caused. So in the previous example, the party means Y. Party means Y. So Y has right to avoid the contract. If Y does not take any action to avoid the contract, contract will be considered as valid. And the person to whom money is paid or thing delivered under the coercion must repay or return it. Means if in the previous examples, Y has obtained 5,000 rupees and after that Y is cancelling the contract, he has to return rupees 5,000 to Mr. X. ठीक है, क्या क्वेरी है आपकी? So blackmailing is allowed, not allowed because blackmailing is the criminal act. Criminal act as per IPC, right? Neha, coercion refer to physical pressure. Yes, beta. Detaining मतलब कब्जा करना, detain करना, कब्जा करना बेटे. Burden of proof किसके ऊपर है? Lies on the aggrieved party that his consent is not free. It means in the previous example, who has to prove? Mr. Y has to prove that his consent was obtained by coercion. Sir, consideration unit note is not yet uploaded. Okay, I will talk the faculties of the ICAI. If it's not uploaded, they will upload. Okay, wait. Question is whether threat to commit suicide is a coercion. It means if any person is giving the threat to commit suicide, whether it is regarded as coercion. So threat is the only crime which if successfully committed, there will be no punishment because a dead person cannot be punished. If you attempted suicide but it could not be succeed, then the punishment is there because it is the crime in the IPC, Indian Penal. So suicide through though forbidden by Indian Penal Code is for obvious reason not punishable. A dead person cannot be punished, but Section 15 declares that committing or threatening to commit any act forbidden by IPC is coercion. What Section 15 says? Any act forbidden by IPC. So because it is the crime as per IPC, so threat to commit suicide is also the coercion. Hence, the threat to commit suicide will be regarded as coercion. See the example. Where husband obtains a gift deed from his wife and son under a threat to committing suicide, the transaction was set aside. Set aside means cancelled. Set aside on the ground of coercion. सुसाइड बीइंग फॉर्म्ड बाय आईपीसी। एक बार एग्जांपल पढ़िए बच्चों दोबारा। एग्जाम्पल नहीं समझ आया, उज्जवल कह रहे हैं बेटा हस्बैंड ने गिफ्ट डीड ली अपनी वाइफ और सन से कि मैं सुसाइड कर लूंगा अगर तुमने प्रॉपर्टी मेरे नाम ट्रांसफर नहीं की, और उन बच्चों ने, वाइफ ने और बेटे ने क्या करा, डर के प्रॉपर्टी ट्रांसफर कर दी। बाद में ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कैंसिल कर दिया जाएगा क्योंकि उसने कोर्शन अप्लाई किया, राइट। Ragul is saying, sir, within day, can you upload all the notes? Actually, I could not upload that. The responsibility or power authority to upload is with that ICAI. So they will upload. Okay, beta, please wait. Undue influence, section 16. A contract is said to be induced by undue influence. In Coercion, there was a physical pressure. In undue influence, there is moral pressure. A contract is said to be induced by undue influence where the relation subsisting between the parties are such that one of the parties is in position to dominate the will of other and uses the position of obtain unfair advantage of that other. It means some moral pressure. But for this purpose, two conditions should be there. One thing, there should be relationship, and relationship is of nature that one person can dominate the will of other. दूसरे की इच्छा को प्रेशराइज कर सकता है, dominate कर सकता है, and he uses the unfair advantage of that position. Right? See the essential ingredients. There must be relationship between the parties. अनजान आदमी मेरे को morally pressure नहीं कर सकता. The stranger cannot make the moral pressure on me, right? Position to dominate the will of other, and that person should be in position to dominate my will, right? And the relationship may be of this type: a real and apparent authority, वास्तविक authority in case of master and servant, doctor and patient, these in which a master can make the undue influence over the servant, a doctor can make the undue influence over the patient. Fiduciary relationship of trust, विश्वास का रिश्ता, relationship of trust. Fiduciary, like father and son, solicitor and client, husband and wife, creditor and debtor. Mental distress, mental trauma, कोई परेशानी है just because of body distress, illness or old age. So in situation, there can be a person who can influence your will and can take the benefit. Next point, the object must be of to take the undue advantage. It means relationship existing that one party can dominate the will of other, but he is not taking any undue benefit, undue advantage. Then there is no undue influence. अगर मैं अपने बेटे की मैं पोजीशन में हूँ, मैं अपने बेटे की इच्छा को डोमिनेट कर सकता हूँ, मगर मैं कोई फायदा नहीं उठा रहा हूँ, तो undue influence हुआ ही नहीं, right? See the example number 11. A advanced money to his son B during his minority. Upon B's coming of the age, by misuse of parental influence, a bond from B for a greater amount that the sum due in respect of the advance. A employs undue influence. Please read कीजिए. Please read example 11 and 12. सर एग्जाम्पल 10 में अनडू इन्फ्लुएंस भी हो सकता है अगर हस्बैंड सुसाइड की धमकी ना दे तो। यस, हो सकता है, बिल्कुल सकता है। Example 11 says कि a person has given the loan to his son and obtains the bond of higher amount. It means he obtains the bond that son will return the higher amount by using his power, dominating power. So this is the context. This is the context in which undue influence is there. See the example number 12. An illiterate old woman, एक अनपढ़ महिला, बूढ़ी महिला, who is physically ill and mentally distressed, executed a gift deed in favor of his relative who was taking care of her. Her relative is in position dominant will of old. Any doubt in example number 11 and 12? सर गुरु और डिवोटी में फिड्यूशियरी रिलेशनशिप होगा? यस। एग्जाम्पल 11 हिंदी में, एक पिता ने कुछ पैसा 10,000 रुपए फॉर एग्जाम्पल दिए अपने बेटे को उधार, और बेटे से कहा कि ये तू मुझे 1 लाख रुपए देगा इसके बदले में, तो देना पड़ेगा। बच्चे ने बेचारे दे दिया, तो ये क्या है? अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस है, राइट। अभी क्लियर हुआ क्या एग्जाम्पल 11? एग्जाम्पल 12 में क्या लिखा रहा है? वो एक ओल्ड महिला थी, अनपढ़ थी, लेकिन एक लेडी उसकी सेवा कर रही थी। तो उसने कहा कि मैं आपके साथ कोई एक एग्रीमेंट साइन कर रही हूँ, पर गलती क्या करा उसने, उससे पूरी प्रॉपर्टी अपने नाम ट्रांसफर करा ली। तो ये क्या कहा जाएगा? अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस। Unconscionable bargains are those transactions which are unreasonable transaction. अनरीजनेबल ट्रांजेक्शन। 10 रुपए का, आप 100 रुपए का लोन लिया, उसके बदले में ब्याज दे रहे हो 50 रुपए की, अनरीजनेबल, राइट। In 11, son can sue या son can resign the contract. Unconscionable bargain में unreasonable transactions डिस्कस कर लिया बेटा मैंने। Now what are the consequences of undue influences? Section 19 capital A. Contract is voidable at the option of the parties whose consent was so caused. It means the whose consent was obtained by undue influence has power to resign the contract. And such contract may be set aside either absolutely. Set aside means cancel either absolutely. But if the party is if the party who is entitled to avoid has received any benefit, जैसे the person whose consent was obtained by undue influence has taken any benefit, then he has to pay logically. He has to pay the just and equitable. For example, suppose in the previous example of example number 11, the father has obtained the loan of 10,000 from the son with the condition that father has given the loan of 10,000 to the son with the condition that son has to return 1 lakh rupees. This consent was due to undue influence. Now, as per the section 19 capital A, if the son has received rupees 10,000 as loan, so he is liable to make the payment of 10,000 with normal interest. So interest as per the banking terms, right? Any other doubt? Burden of proof. Burden of proving the absence of use of dominant position to obtain the unfair advantage will lie on the party who is in position to dominate the will of other. यहाँ पर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को जिसको ये प्रूव करना है, क्या है? द बर्डन ऑफ प्रूविंग ऑफ एब्सेंस ऑफ यूज ऑफ डोमिनेंट पोजीशन, यानी कि आप सपोज इस फॉर एग्जांपल हम बात करें एग्जांपल नंबर 11 की, तो इन दैट केस फादर हैज टू प्रूव दैट ही हैज नॉट यूज्ड द अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस। ज्यादा नहीं Sir, in example number 11, I am not talked about the minor contract. It was not mentioned that one son is minor, right? So this is the difference between coercion and influence. I'm not taking here. You can read yourself. Now come to the super over 2. सर एक एग्जाम्पल है बुक में, अंश तिवारी क्या कह रहे हैं? एक टीचर अपनी बेटी की शादी करने को बोलता है उसके स्टूडेंट से, बोथ और स्मार्ट एंड ब्रिलियंट, तो क्या फ्री कंसेंट है ये? नहीं बेटा, पूरा एग्जाम्पल लिखो. आई एम अनेबल टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट यू वांट टू आस्क. स्टार्ट करें बेटा. तो लेट्स स्टार्ट फॉर सुपर ओवर 2. एनी क्वेरी? पूछ लो बच्चों. नहीं, चलिए. A teacher asked her daughter to get married to one of his brilliant students. Both the girl and boy were smart, settled, and intelligent. Here, the teacher had a relation which can influence uh, on both of them, but as no overt undue advantage of such influence was taken, such contract of marriage is said to be made by free. सही तो कह रहा है. बेटे, टीचर ने अपने बेटी को बोला मेरा एक स्टूडेंट है, स्मार्ट है, ब्रिलियंट है, तुम उससे शादी कर लो. पोजीशन है, लेकिन उसने ऐसा जबरदस्ती थोड़ी करी उसके साथ. अनडिउ इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं माना जाएगा यार, राइट. अनकॉन्शनेबल बार्गेन्स मींस अनरीजनेबल ट्रांजैक्शंस. इसका मैंने एग्जांपल भी दिया था कि सपोज एक आदमी को लोन चाहिए 1,000 रुपए का, उसने जिससे मांगा लोन, उसने कहा भाई साहब मैं तो आपको 40% इंटरेस्ट पे दूंगा. तो दिस इज अनरीजनेबल ट्रांजैक्शन एंड दीज आर void, right? Voidable, sorry. Actually, Ronit is saying the burden of proof in undue influence will be on the person who dominates the will of other. Actually, the normal case, in practical case, first the person will have to prove that there was a undue influence with him. Then the other party has to prove that there was no undue influence. He has not made any undue influence, right? So let's start. Super over 2. The term consent is defined in section 12, 13, 14 or 15. मैरिज वाला एग्जाम्पल अभी एक बच्चे ने पूछा, एग्जाम्पल नंबर 19 की. एक सर ने अपनी बेटी को बोला कि तुम मेरे के स्टूडेंट शादी कर लो, वो ब्रिलियंट है, स्मार्ट है. तो यहाँ ऐसा नहीं है कि अनडिविजुअल कोई प्रेशराइज थोड़ी किया है कि तुम कर लो मैरिज, एक सजेशन है. तो इससे हम अनडिविजुअल नहीं माना जाएगा. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. A threatens to kill B if he does not sell his scooter to him for rupees 1,000 only. Here B consent is obtained by undue influence, coercion, fraud, none of these. Undue influence is kind of mental coercion, physical coercion, both of these, none of these. A fiduciary relationship means relationship of trust and confidence, senior and junior, none of these, both of these. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. मैं बेटा जरा 1 मिनट के लिए पॉज कर रहा हूँ. Next, to undue influence some sort of relationship between parties, necessary, not necessary, identified, presumed. चलिए आंसर डिस्कस करते हैं बच्चों. Term consent is defined in section 13. Threatens to kill B. It is case of coercion. Undue influence is a kind of mental coercion. Fiduciary relationship means the relationship of trust and confidence. Threat to commit suicide amounts to coercion. To undue influence some sort of relationship between the parties is necessary. Let's check the answers. Who has given all the correct answers is Mr. Ronit, Ujjwal, Neha, Saloni, Alfia, Arita, Sayali, Manjushri, Bindia, Ria, Aisha, टॉर्ट क्या होता है? रेफरेंस सम सॉर्ट ऑफ एक आइडिया रिलेशनशिप होनी चाहिए. ठीक है. सो एनी अदर क्वेरी? इधर साक्षी, उज्जवल हैज क्वेरी. ओके, वेट उज्जवल. Ravi, okay, Ravi has given all the correct answers. So, Ujjwal, ask your query, beta.
हेलो गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
Good afternoon, Ujjwal.
सर मेरे को ये पेज नंबर 2.66 का एग्जांपल में प्रॉब्लम है.
स्टडी मॉड्यूल.
यस सर.
एक मिनट रुकिए बेटा, एक मिनट दीजिए मुझे.
ओके सर.
टू 2.66.
Yes, sir. 2.66.
Example number
Example number 15.
15.
Yes, sir.
A spiritual guru induced his devotee to give to him the whole of this property in return of a promise of salvation of the devotee. The consent of the devotee was given. एक second. Salvation आगे क्या है? Of the devotee held the consent of the devotee was given under the undue influence. Here the relationship was the fiduciary relationship between guru and the devotee, and the guru was in position to dominate the will of devotee. इसने क्या कहा कि गुरु ने चेले से कहा कि भैया तुम्हें मोक्ष मिलेगा और मुझे सारी प्रॉपर्टी दे दो अपनी, उसने दे दी, तो ये क्या कहा जाएगा? अनड्यू इन्फ्लुएंस, राइट?
सर salvation of the devotee मतलब मोक्ष मिलेगा.
साल्वेशन मतलब मोक्ष.
ओके सर. सर और एग्जाम्पल 14 में सोलिसिटर मतलब क्या होता है?
सॉलिसिटर कह सकते हैं, सॉलिसिटर को कह सकते हैं, जैसे एडवोकेट कह सकते हो आप यहाँ पर.
एडवोकेट.
यू कैन से एडवोकेट यहाँ.
सर और पेज नंबर 2.67 में
2.67 बताइए.
अनकॉन्शियनेबल बार्गेन्स का लास्ट.
अनकॉन्शियनेबल बार्गेन बताया मैंने. वेयर
लास्ट.
जी कौन सा वाला?
लास्ट सेंटेंस.
अनकॉन्शियनेबल बार्गेन्स आर विटनेस मोस्टली इन मनी लेंडिंग ट्रांजैक्शन एंड गिफ्ट्स. यही वाली लाइन.
यस सर.
अनरीजनेबल ट्रांजैक्शन जो होते हैं वो नॉर्मली किसमें होते हैं? मनी लेंडिंग, उधार देने में ब्याज के ट्रांजैक्शन जो होते हैं एट हाइगर रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, ठीक है, या फिर गिफ्ट के केस में होते हैं. ये कहना चाह रहा है.
ओके सर. सर यही प्रॉब्लम.
ओके बेटा, ठीक है, थैंक यू. सो दिस वाज द सेशन फॉर. एक मिनट, क्वेरी है चैट बॉक्स में, एक मिनट रुक जाइए बच्चों. सर अब आज का सेशन तो खत्म हो गया बेटा, टाइम हो गया. कल इसको कंप्लीट करेंगे, नेक्स्ट क्लास जब भी होगी हम इसको कंप्लीट करेंगे. कैन ए मेजर मेक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ माइनर? नहीं नहीं, ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ माइनर का मतलब तो ये हुआ कि माइनर प्रिंसिपल होगा. नो, नॉट पॉसिबल. एक मिनट, क्वेरी है बीच में, एक मिनट रुकिए. अरेता आस्क योर क्वेरी बेटा.
Sir, I have doubt in page number 2.67 of study material.
2.67.
Yes, sir. Example
थोड़ा
18.
जोर से बोलेंगे बेटा, प्लीज जोर से बोलिए.
2.67 पेज का example number 18.
18 is, ma'am, repeating the example number 18. A applies to a banker for a loan at a time when there is a stringency in money market. मनी मार्केट stringency, मनी मार्केट मतलब पैसों की शॉर्टेज थी मार्केट में. The banker declined to make the loan except at unusually high rate. बैंकर ने कहा भाई साहब हम तो आपसे इंटरेस्ट एक्स्ट्रा लेंगे, बहुत बड़ी इंटरेस्ट लेंगे. A accepts the loan on these terms. This is a transaction in the ordinary course of business and contract is not induced by undue influence. It means प्रॉब्लम मार्केट में ही है, क्योंकि मार्केट में क्या है, वो शॉर्टेज है पैसे की, तो सभी लोग एक्स्ट्रा इंटरेस्ट चार्ज करेंगे. तो दिस इज नॉट अ केस ऑफ अनड्यू, केस ऑफ अनकॉन्शनेबल बार्गेन, राइट?
Yes, sir. Sir, stringency मतलब?
कहते कमी, मार्केट में पैसे की कमी है, शॉर्टेज है.
Okay, sir.
ओके. मंजुश्री प्लीज आस्क योर क्वेरी. Okay, I think there is no other question to ask. So at this place, sir, is senior junior example of the fiduciary relationship, you can say. Books example 18 अभी मैं डिस्कस कर चुका बेटा इसको, राइट? सो प्लीज आस्क.
सर
जी
सर वो इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट में थोड़ा वर्ड्स है ना, टफ वर्ड्स, वो अंडरस्टैंड करने के थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है मुझे। अल्टरनेट वर्ड्स यूज करके एक्सप्लेन कीजिए सर प्लीज।
बेटे देखो, जो टेक्निकल, प्लीज लिसन, द टेक्निकल वर्ड्स, टर्म्स एंड यूज in the contract will be required for an exam. So I try to explain the meaning by changing the words. So please,
Yes.
you have to go the words, because in future you have to use these type of words. Okay, so you can if you have problem in reading, so you can go through the dictionary and you can write the alternate meaning, but sometime in future you have to use these terms, right? Okay. Sir, fraud have you taken? I will take in the next class, fraud. Okay. Mr. Raghul, ask your query,
Sir, can you hear me?
please.
Sir, let me know the meaning of unconscionable conduct.
Please speak loudly. I'm not getting your voice, please.
Conscionable bargains.
I will discuss, recently I have discussed in the class, unconscionable bargains or unreasonable transactions. Unreasonable transaction means any person is making unreasonable, for example, charging a higher rate of unusually high rate of interest in normal situation. It is the unreasonable transaction, and they are called the transaction by undue influence. I'm just discussing the
Sir,
problem.
and also,
Yes.
sir, and consideration units notes are yet to be downloaded, sir.
Consideration will be, I think, consideration notes are uploaded by the ICAI faculties. If not, I will inform you. They will upload. Okay, then you can download and continue your reading.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so at this place, we are ending the session. Hopefully, please, but should get the revision. Should get the revision what we have discussed. ठीक है, ma'am, are you there?
Hello, Sajid.
Class close करें sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Over, sir. Thank you so much, sir.